I'm pregnant. That's what I told someone once because I made one small mistake in Spanish. So yeah, I know what it feels like to make a mistake and then immediately want to disappear. If you're like most people I talk to, you probably feel embarrassed when you make grammar mistakes, especially if someone corrects you in front of other people. But here's the thing that nobody tells you. Grammar mistakes are not something you should feel ashamed of. And so in this video, I'm going to show you the danger of not making mistakes, the best way to learn grammar without making mistakes, how native speakers really react when you make mistakes, and the real consequence of grammar mistakes. Okay, I've got 5 reasons you should never feel ashamed of your grammar mistakes, and you're going to feel much better about your English after watching this video. So, are you ready? Okay, I normally stand here and teach grammar so you can speak more clearly, naturally, and accurately. So why am I now telling you that grammar mistakes are okay? Well, yes, I'm a teacher, but also I'm a language learner, just like you. And I am tired of hearing people, like you, apologize for their mistakes or feel embarrassed about their mistakes or be afraid of making mistakes. I've learnt French and Spanish. I've experienced that feeling of embarrassment when speaking a foreign language, and I've also felt the wonderful feeling of not caring about grammar mistakes, and that feels much better than the other option. So if you want to feel like that, you need to first hear these 5 reasons that I'm going to tell you in this video why you should never feel ashamed about your grammar mistakes. So before we start, if you don't know me, I'm Greg, and on this channel I make advanced grammar simple and teach you British pronunciation so that you can speak clearly and understand native speakers easily. And as with all my videos, you can now download the latest edition of my Quick Fix magazine. This week we have a story which includes some common chunks that you can actually use when you're speaking English. Plus, there's a quiz, a writing challenge, and a few other fun activities to help you keep improving your English in a very cool and fun way. All you have to do to get that magazine is click up there or click the link in the description. You can also scan the QR code there, and then you just need to enter your name and email address, and I'll send this special edition of the Quick Fix magazine straight away to your inbox. And then every time I publish a magazine, you will receive it. Okay. The first reason, then, that you should never be ashamed of your grammar mistakes is if you only use grammar you've mastered, you'll never improve. Think about it. You learn a new tense, a new structure, a new sentence pattern. But if you're too scared to use it, you won't get any better. You won't improve. You'll just keep using the safe, simple grammar over and over again. And this is how you get stuck at that level, which is a level below where you could and should be. Mistakes mean that you're trying something new. You can never improve any skill if you don't practice it. And using the new grammar you learn when you're speaking or communicating in English is the only way to master that type of grammar. And guess what? As with everything, you're gonna make mistakes when you're first trying. But it's all part of the road to mastering that grammar and moving on to the next level. Okay, the second reason that you should never feel ashamed of your mistakes is because the best way to learn grammar is by using it badly. What? It's true. So let's imagine you're having a conversation with someone in English and you say, I will go to the cinema yesterday. The other person looks at you very confused. And you think, yes, and you correct yourself. Yeah, sorry, I went to the cinema yesterday. Now, you see, that moment of confusion where you're talking to someone and they just suddenly have a completely blank look on their face, it's not a nice experience, but that's when real grammar sticks. It's when you actually learn, because your brain says, that's the right way, because if I say that, then that person's not going to understand me. I've been in this situation many times before. It's uncomfortable. It's horrible at times, but it works. And when you experience that very uncomfortable moment where you're talking and the other person really looks confused, you will not make the same mistake again. Trust me. And that proves that really the best way to master grammar is to use it, even if you use it badly and confuse the other person, because only good things will come from that situation. It's all part of the learning process, and that's exactly what happened to me at the beginning of this video when I said, I'm pregnant. Yeah. Pregnant in Spanish is embarazada. I wanted to say that I was embarrassed, but instead of embarrassed, I said embarazada, which meant that I'm pregnant. Trust me, the look on the person's face made me feel so bad that I will never make that mistake again. But trust me, you have to use English to really master it. And if you want to do that, but avoid those horrible situations where somebody looks at you and thinks, are you crazy? Then there's a great way to do that. And it's actually something that a lot of my students have started doing. And I'll share it with you right now. Basically, it's a way to feel confident using grammar while you speak, while you write, and have your mistakes corrected immediately, but without that feeling of that you might have when you're practicing with a real person. And I'm talking about the Teacher AI app. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I absolutely love it because it's like having a personal speaking partner in your pocket. And the best thing is you can practice your new grammar, you can make mistakes, and nobody will judge you. Nobody will make you feel embarrassed or afraid. It's just a very easy way to first start gaining confidence using English and not caring so much about making mistakes. And also, as I mentioned in the first point, it's a great way to practice using your new grammar and not stay stuck in the safe level by just using the grammar that you feel comfortable with. And if you want to quite quickly reach a level of confidence where you don't feel afraid or ashamed to make grammar mistakes in English, then this is the perfect way to do that. In fact, there are 3 cool things. One is that I will be your teacher on the app. The second is that you can try it free. It comes with a free trial period, so you can see how it feels to practice with my AI clone. And the third cool thing is that I've got you a discount of 20%. So if you decide to continue after the trial period, you can use the code GREG20 and you will get a 20% discount on your subscription to the app. I recommend this app to everyone, my family, my friends. I use it myself. It's absolutely amazing, especially for people who feel ashamed and afraid to make mistakes in English. Okay, so let's move on to the third reason why you should never be ashamed of your grammar mistakes. Bad grammar often doesn't stop you being understood. Yeah. This might surprise you, and it might make you think, well, fine, I will just stop watching your videos then, Greg. I mean, I'm not saying don't try to improve your grammar, don't keep learning. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you speak with native speakers and you make a load of grammar mistakes, it's okay. Don't panic. Because yes, sometimes it can cause confusion. Sometimes you might say something you don't want to say, but a lot of the time, we can still perfectly understand you. Even a lot of native speakers don't have perfect grammar. God, when I watch football players giving interviews after games, the grammar is often terrible, and they're the native speakers. But imagine foreign football players after they've played a match. They're exhausted, mentally and physically. They say things like, "We play good, I scored 2 goals." It's not perfect English, but it's 100% clear what they want to say. You know, and look at this. "Me go kitchen now." What does that mean? Well, it's easy, right? It means I'm going to the kitchen now. We understand it without thinking. Grammar is important, but pronunciation and context matter much, much more. With bad pronunciation, it's not clear to understand what people are trying to say. And yeah, context normally fills in the gaps. If you make lots of grammar mistakes, the context tells us exactly what you want to say. Okay, the fourth reason that it's terrible to feel ashamed of your grammar mistakes is because even speaking English a little bit is an achievement. I mean, imagine you're speaking English to a native English speaker. They don't speak your language, but you're communicating with them in English. It has to be in English, because if you're not speaking English to them, then there is no conversation. It is thanks to you and thanks to your English that you and that person are able to communicate. Even if you make mistakes, you're doing something that they can't do, speaking a different language. And that's incredible, you know? You've studied, you've practiced, you've had hundreds of conversations, read books, watched videos, taken courses, practiced using Teacher AI if you do that. You've done so much work to reach that level, and that is not something to be ashamed of. That is consistency, dedication, motivation, ambition. That's something to be 100% proud of. So what if you make a few mistakes? Nobody expects your grammar to be perfect. And as I said before, not even native speakers' grammar is perfect. Okay? Right. The fifth reason you should never feel ashamed of your grammar mistakes is no one ever died from a grammar mistake. I mean, let's be honest, if you're rock climbing and you make a mistake, you fall and maybe die. Or if you're in the circus and you're throwing knives and make a mistake, again, that's a pretty bad consequence. But if you're speaking English and you make a mistake, you might get a confused look and then you fix it and the conversation continues. That's it. That is the worst case scenario. So mistakes are not dangerous, so relax. I mean, we're talking about a grammar mistake. It's really not a matter of life and death. It's really not something to feel ashamed or embarrassed or afraid of. It shouldn't cause anxiety. It's just a grammar mistake. And it's actually an opportunity to improve. Okay? It's not bad, it's good, it's useful. And improvement should build confidence, not destroy it. So here's what I want you to remember today. Grammar mistakes mean you are growing. You're trying new things. You're not hiding in your comfort zone, staying stuck at that basic, simple level. Making mistakes helps you improve. Okay? You naturally don't want to see that blank look on the other person's face again. So you make a mistake, it's fine, because it will help you learn. In fact, making mistakes, learning from them, and improving next time is the natural way to improve any skill. Next, we can still understand you, even if your grammar is bad. So don't worry. And by speaking a foreign language, you're brave. You're intelligent, you're hardworking. That's all fantastic. And that should make you feel proud. And finally, no one dies from a grammar mistake. So let's have some perspective on life. Let's keep trying to improve, but come on, speaking another language should be fun. So enjoy your mistakes, laugh at them, learn from them. They mean you're improving. And if you want a quick way to make that improvement and get lots of practice making mistakes and learning from them and improving and improving and improving, then remember you can use the code GREG20 to get 20% off your subscription on Teacher AI. And there's a free trial also that you can get even before you pay a penny. Okay, let's keep the vibe good here. I want you to write in the comments, mistakes are good. It will help you feel good to believe that mistakes are good. Write it in the comments. Or if you have a funny story of a grammar mistake you made and learned from, I would love to hear about it. So put it in the comments too. Okay. Keep making grammar mistakes, never be ashamed of them, just try to avoid those pronunciation mistakes in that video and you'll be fine. You'll see what I mean there. There's this week's free magazine, hope you enjoy it, and bye for now.